Welcome back to another group preview. Group C now. Lots of drama in this one. Lots of drama. Let's kick off with, a lot of people talk about this. Let's talk about Peru and the Guerrero saga. He's the main striker for Peru. 34 years old, loads of goals, plays for Flamengo, and he failed a drug test for cocaine. And it looked like they were going to be without him, which was going to be a huge loss. But now he's back.
Yeah, and surprisingly, that there was the captains of the other three sides that's helped get him reinstated.
I mean, well done, but I think that's mad. Well, any advantage, right?
Certainly, if Peru, performed to expectation, then of course they have got a chance of finishing.
It's not left back either. It's like it's your
he's main threat.
Striker.
Yeah. I'm not sure I'd be in this as charitable.
The 6-month ban that he got is under appeal, and because of that, he's allowed to play. I think he wasn't actually doing cocaine. It was actually it was in a tea that he drank because it was such a minuscule amount.
The ban was lifted to allow him to be part of Peru's first World Cup since 1982. For Guerrero to potentially have missed this would have been absolutely devastating for how long Peru have gone without a World Cup. I think of the South American sides, they're the one people know least amount and are a bit of an unknown quantity.
Yeah.
And I think there might be a bit of a surprise because they've been unbeaten for I think 18 months or so. They've won in difficult places, not against Brazil or in Rio or Argentina or in Buenos Aires, but they've gone to the likes of Paraguay, Ecuador. Ecuador in particular, you play at altitude. It's not easy to play there, and they've found ways to win. They also won in or went unbeaten in 4 games without Guerrero whilst this was all being sorted out.
Right.
So they've showed they can handle it without him. This group, on paper you look at it and you think, France have got this wrapped up. First place, sewn up, it's easy for them. I think it could be quite a tricky group for them. I think they'll still get out of it and they'll probably still top it. But I don't think we're looking at France getting, maximum points.
I think with Gareca, the Ricardo Gareca, the Peru's manager, I think what they've got in this tournament and what is the big strength of this tournament, you're talking about finding a way to win games. He is adaptable. He's changed tactic, he's changed formations, he's changed styles to combat the opposition. And that's what they're going to have to do in this tournament, obviously, if they're going to go, certainly if they're going to go further in the group stage.
Belter of the first game for Peru. It's what the World Cup's all about. It's Peru-Denmark, that first game. Because if you do any reading on this, or look into these two teams, these are two teams that not only will kind of want to be getting out of their group, but I think you wonder when it gets to that second round, that's where you'll kind of see maybe a few surprises. And both of those teams have got some good players. Denmark, I think, again, top line you go, it's all about Christian Eriksen, but they've got a few other good, high-quality players who've been around. All that said, Christian Eriksen, 11 goals in qualifying. He's a huge part of how they play, but they play slightly different. They play a bit more direct, don't they?
Well, you would, wouldn't you, David? I mean, if you look at the size of the guys they've got up front, Cornelius is 6'3", Jorgensen's 6'4". You can play the ball up to, or they'll help you pin defences back, which leaves that space in front of defences for Eriksen to just, either pull the strings or, as we saw against Ireland in that playoff, hit a hat-trick with some incredible goals.
Yeah.
And I think, the way that Denmark play, they used to playing a 4-3-3. Morten Olsen played a 4-3-3 for a long time, and it's what they were used to. A little bit more of a passing style. Åge Hareide, he come in and he obviously is more direct. The Danish fans didn't like that a lot, and he wasn't the most popular choice to come in. But the fact is they're qualified, and that's given him a little bit more leeway. And if he can get Christian Eriksen more into the game, then it's in they can progress. They have a plan B, obviously, to go a bit more direct, but they have Pione Sisto as well. Yeah. The Ugandan-born international, and he gives them another option as well. But I think sometimes in tournaments, it's not about the best sides. Sometimes it's about the side who comes up with something different. I don't know whether Denmark might be that side.
I think as well with Denmark, it makes sense that if Christian Eriksen's your main guy and you want to get the ball to him, do it this way of playing with the weapons that you've got, these bigger players. You don't have to play the whole way through. You can just get further up the pitch, and when you're further up the pitch, you're not going to concede goals either. So that's helpful for them.
Of course, and they've got I was going to say Peter Schmeichel. They've got Kasper Schmeichel in goal as well, who can aid that as well, because, you know, he's used to playing that style of football as well.
We're talking about drama with Peru. The drama in Australia, first of all, just to get to the tournament, where was it? It was Syria first, Tim Cahill, 38, gets them through that. Then Honduras, the amount of travelling that they've had to do just to get to the World Cup. Then they go through all that, and then they change the manager.
Yeah. I mean, if you play for Australia, then you're going to do a lot of travelling anyway. Because a lot of the players are based here. But it is a strange story, because obviously Ange Postecoglou, he resigned from his job. They were a three-man defence. He played under him. There were some teething troubles at the start, but they played some nice football. They ironed out those troubles. Obviously, then he's left, then Bert Van Marwijk's come in, back four, so they've had to change again.
What's even crazy about that, the Van Marwijk, is Van Marwijk got Saudi Arabia to the World Cup, so he's been busy as well.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's a strange situation, because he's not even going to be there long term. You know, you got Graham Arnold coming in after the tournament, and that's the only worry for me, that something like Australia, that they need to build the togetherness. If they're going to go further, then they need the team spirit. There's a worry that they're relying on a 38-year-old Tim Cahill to get goals as well. But also, like I said, the disruption, the togetherness, it's a part-time appointment, and I'm not sure whether in the short space of time Van Marwijk's got enough time to garner the structure in his side and this togetherness.
I do think Van Marwijk and Aussie is a match made in heaven, because we did see the Holland side that he got to the 2010 World Cup final. That was like an Aussie rules team.
Yeah, true.
So.
But I guess, you're right. Hearing you kind of don't want to hear new ideas and new ways in that when you've got 70 days to prepare.
Especially when they took them a little bit of time to get used to the three at the back with Postecoglou as well. So it's and to me, with Matty Ryan, who I really highly playing in that system under Postecoglou, you saw the best of him as a ball playing goalkeeper. And. He can adapt. He's done that with Brighton this season and Valencia, so there shouldn't be a problem there. But I'd like to see him play a more passing style of football to get the best out of him.
France are undoubtedly the favourites for this group. You've got a few concerns with them, though. You're saying they're not going to get those. You're not going to get total points. They're not going to be getting 9 points out of this group.
Well, I watched them in qualifying, James, and ultimately it was comfortable, but they lost to Sweden in Solna. Hugo Lloris didn't have the best game. They drew with Luxembourg. They, in some respects, are better than they were 2 years ago when they reached the European Championship final, in that more players, just when you think they couldn't produce any more great players, they produce more.
I think that's what there's only 9 of that Euro 2016 squad is in this squad.
Exactly.
And so you're only going to do that if they're better, and they weren't an old squad then.
It doesn't feel fresh. There's question marks about the manager, Didier Deschamps.
Why is that?
Well, because they do all the hard work, get to the final of a tournament that they're hosting, and they lose to a Portugal side that struggled often to beat teams in 90 minutes. I just think on paper, they look better than they are in reality.
They have lots of options, but sometimes that might be a hindrance as well. I mean, the front four, you've got, like I said, with Giroud, Mbappe, Dembele, Griezmann, any combination of those three. In midfield, Pogba and Kante, you'd think they were nailed on, but you look at the competition for the other players, Tolisso, Lemar, Matuidi, and it's those three players, and Nzonzi as well, coming off the back of good seasons, you'd think it would be Pogba's place that was under threat.
So many players that you can talk about. Griezmann scored goals, you expect him to do it again. Mbappe, 19 years old, he could light up this World Cup. But Pogba's always a talking point, and he's. I think people are often looking for him to not fail, but like they're waiting for something majestic from him.
I think sometimes he's wasted if he sits and doesn't get forwards. I want to see him when he gets the ball to deliver a ball wide and then or just carry the ball forward and break lines with the ball himself. Sometimes I think there's times we watched at Manchester United this season, he's played a sort of more controlled game and he's played within himself. He's not playing at 60%, and I think we need to see more from him. And we want to see more from him. It's not like it's people want to see him fail. We just want to see more from him, and maybe that's whether it's an unrealistic expectation. I don't think it is, because we've seen it from him in the past.
Well, I think Deschamps got a massive call there to make, because if you do play him, then
he plays it.
And right.
Yeah.
But if you don't, then you've shown you've got something about you there.
He has dropped him at different stages of the last 2 tournaments, and the credit where credit's due with Pogba, when he's come back, he's always put in a big performance. So I think Pogba's going to have a big tournament. I'm a Pog believer. So
wow.
I think he's going to come up big for them.
Okay, are you a Pog believer? Let us know in the comments below. A lot of question marks over France. How good do you think they are? How far do you think they'll get in the tournament? And who is going to make it out of Group C? Go and check out our preview for Group A and Group B, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss all the other previews that we're going to be doing on the Ball Street channel. We'll see you soon.